Hello, welcome to everybody. We just want to take a moment and thank all of you for tuning in, all you beautiful souls who've been doing this 5D ascension journey with us over the last couple of years. And I think out of all the videos that I've done so far, this is probably going to be the most exciting one. And you've got to ask why, right? So we just want you to know we don't have teleprompters, so we have old-fashioned notes in color and everything. So we're all ready for you. We want to give you the crux of this phenomenal opportunity that's right here with us right now. So we have with us Liana of Meditation with Liana on Facebook. Thank you for being here. And she'll introduce herself more in a little bit. But I wanted to just preface what we're going to be doing, what we're talking about is so incredibly beautiful. There is a wave of love and light that is coming onto the planet from the 21st of December through the 29th. It is going to be huge. It's a crescendo of energy that is going to help catapult humanity into the 5D New Earth frequency. So we are in 3D Earth. We're like on a piano at one octave and we're going up another octave. This is a precursor to that energy. So we're like going to be walking across the threshold from the old energy into the new energy with what is coming. So many people on Facebook, on YouTube, people are writing, are all feeling these changes that are on the planet right now. The difference between the light and the dark and this knowing and feeling that something visceral, we can feel there is change happening. And it's this huge level of love. And so it's an opportunity of great proportion for humanity. So what I would like to do is introduce Liana. And Liana has been getting lots of messages from a group that talks to her. It's the collective soul of the universe. And her information reflects a lot of information that I've been getting, that other people have been getting. And it's absolutely stunning at what is coming. It's been very, very exciting. So I wanted to let her share what that message is. And let's see, the other thing is, oh yeah, this is the big one. So the universe, the souls in this world are working on overcoming the spell of being fearful and separated from the divine, from their own God selves. And the way out is to remember who it is that we are love, and to begin to embrace that journey. So what we want to do is talk about how that's going to occur. But Liana, you want to share a little bit about who you are?
Well, it's not so important about who am I. I'm just part, a player in the process. I've been part of Rajith's group of 5D Ascension, and we've been gathering and collectively reflecting on all this energy that we've been feeling of something's coming. What is it? What's coming? And I'm from the field of meditation. I teach meditation in groups and individually. And so I've noticed that my meditation experience have changed. And what started happening recently is I'm getting direct, feels like downloads, stream of information that I've been guided to share, and a lot of them has happened in writing. So, but this particular one we decided, because I'm sharing with Rajith what I'm getting, and our messages mirror each other a lot of times. So we thought that this would be a good way to introduce maybe whoever's attracted to this video, clearly here for a purpose, to kind of what, is there anything we can do to prepare ourselves for this transition, how it's going to happen, and what's important. So
Yeah, and you've got a lot of information to share. So this particular time when everybody's been talking about the 21st of December, right? And when she started sharing information about that, it was like all of a sudden my stream of consciousness went, oh my gosh, and my spiritual teacher came through. The 21st of December for 9 days, so through the 29th up until the 30th, there's going to be this huge permeation of love, light, moving on to the planet that will bless every single human being, no matter what frequency you are. The higher the frequency you are, the bigger the blessing is. But everybody's going to benefit from this. And it's going to be a benefit by choice. So this is to help prepare people for ascension. Mm-hmm. This is to practice and to experience what it is to be in the frequency of love, right? To hold that energy, to embrace it, to be it, and to see how far we can expand ourselves into this new love and light that is here on the planet. And it will begin to turn the tide of, from negativity, that if we look at the news and we look at the newspapers, even social media, right? It is permeated with negativity and darkness and gloom and doom, and that is not where 5D is going. 5D is going into love. So this is the beginning of turning away from that energy, allowing it to just be a blip on the screen. Not more than 10% of your attention should go there. Your attention needs to go forward into what you want to co-create, which is love, and how to hold that. This is also a time where the darkness is going to be reduced in terms of its pace of being available to us by 70%. So this is a time to kick your own butt, right? and go, okay, let's go play in this field. We have an opportunity to play in a whole new sandbox and experience what real love, what real light, what lightness and joy and expansion and connectivity with one another can be like, right? Okay, so we wanted to make sure that we invited everybody to have this experience, and you choose to go do that, because it's all a matter of choice. You'll be positively affected whether or not you choose. But if you make the choice to consciously participate, your ability to be receptive and to hold more of this love and to experience it more is going to be far greater than if you're just keeping going with your life and ignoring being present. So I want to turn this over to you now about how you consciously choose love and joy.
Yeah, well, so the big message that's coming through consistently over and over is that the universe wants to support us in this transition.
Yeah.
And they want us to remember what it's like to be loved and supported unconditionally. And so part of what's coming is kind of a wave of support to hold us to be able to move through this transition. And the reason why they keep saying that the free will is really essential in both 5D and in this transitional period to it, as you cannot forcefully liberate anybody. And this energy of love and joy seems like, well, it's a no-brainer. Everybody, who wouldn't want that? And they keep saying that it is a conscious choice. You have to choose, because if you don't, the default that our human body will go to is fear and constriction, instead of what our spiritual being wants to, which is move towards expansion and love and the higher frequency energy like gratitude, love. Because what they were saying is the love and fear cannot coexist.
Right.
They kind of cancel each other out in a sense. And love is very powerful, but it's a verb, meaning you have to be. You have to do it. You have to be love. You have to actually participate in that. So and then again, this is not an obligation. It's an invitation to open yourself up and to clear. So what our jobs is, it sounds like, it is my understanding, is to clear the space for these blessings basically to be able to soak into us. So whatever you want to have more of, is the invitation is to spend the energy there, because where
your consciousness goes.
Yeah, where attention goes, energy flows.
Right.
So whatever we want to have more, that's how we co-create, is whatever we want more of, we got to experience it. And once we experience it, then there is there's more room. We're basically making more room for positive, expansive energies, and less room for fear and
negativity of any kind.
And negativity, really.
Yeah.
And so part of the way that they shared, like with clear space, is to let go of attachments, things that are holding us back, things that no longer serve us. And they even they were telling me a lot of times they speak to me in stories, which is kind of sweet actually. And so the illustration that they gave me for the attachment is like, we invite you to work, to practice with the energy of letting go things, even the things you love, like things you like, things you don't want to be separated from. Because again, the fear is an illusion. You can never be separated from what's really meant for you, what's serving your highest purpose, your highest good. So everything else is kind of attachment and grasping. And said, think of it as a string that's holding both you and whatever you're attached to captive. Both of you are prisoners. And the story that they used was a baby tiger. So imagine if you had a baby tiger. You can really honestly love the tiger and take care of it and really, be kind and loving. But it doesn't mean that the true home of a tiger is with you. So the way...
Where is the true home of the tiger?
Huh?
Where is the true home of the tiger?
Wherever it chooses to be.
Wherever it chooses.
You cannot make the choice for the tiger. It could go to it could go to the jungle to look for other tigers. It could choose to be by itself. It could also, and this was really interesting, it can choose to stay and remind you that you have a tiger inside.
Woo!
So that you've forgotten about. But it cannot teach you anything if you keep it captive.
That's so true. It's like anything you love, you have to be willing to let it go.
Love is about freedom. I keep getting it over and over, that true love is about freedom. It's not about holding somebody or anything really, because they say it's not just about people. It's about, like material things. It's because it's an energy. Attachment is this energy that the invitation is, work with that. Part with the things that whether they serve you or not, it's just the practice of that expanding the heart and trusting that whatever is meant for you is looking for you and will find you.
Right. That's really great.
So don't be in the way.
Right. Now, what about like I'm an empath.
Oh.
And I struggled this summer a lot. I mean, actually, I cried for about 3 days.
Oh.
Because I was attached to looking at all the people who were still asleep on the planet.
Yeah.
And looking at all the violence that's being perpetrated on others. And I'm talking to God going, wait a minute. If we're moving into fifth dimensional reality, into this greater love, can we stop this stuff that's happening here?
Yeah.
I want to bring everybody with me. How can I do that? So what did your guide say about that kind of stuff?
I can really relate to that because I keep asking, what about family members? What about, this
friends.
And that? Friends. Yeah. How do we, what about people who are not aware of, this 5D situation? And they keep saying, remember, we're telling you it's about free will. You cannot forcefully liberate anybody. In fact, they said it's not your responsibility,
right,
what choices other souls are making. So that you're not responsible, in fact, for other people's choices.
Yeah, one of the things that I was told when I was having that 3 days of upset, my spiritual teacher so lovingly came to me and said, that he understood where my heart was at.
Yeah.
But he said, how many lifetimes did it take you, Reggie, to get to the place where you could make the choice to really love and see the love in others and in yourself? Well, how many lessons did it take for you to let go and let people find their own joy, find their own truth, find their own strength? Everybody has lessons in every single lifetime. Some of them are really tough.
Yeah.
There's famine, there's war, there's betrayal, there's abandonment. There's all this stuff that people experience. And can we take that lesson away from them in order for them to grow? So this is not the time to save people who are still in those early, toddler waking up, stages of awakening. This is for people who are wanting, I want to expand. I want to be more. I want to grow into my bigger self. How do I do that, right?
Well, I mean, that's exactly how we do that, is by taking care of ourselves, expand and grow what we can grow, the things that has to do with us and our conscious choices. Because if we start getting, I think as empaths, as the spiritually sensitive people, we're also energy sensitive, so we're vulnerable because, again, we feel the collective, we feel the energies, we don't want suffering. And so it's that attachment to the outcome,
right?
Attachment to the control of wanting. What I want for you may not be the same thing you want for yourself,
or you're ready for.
Yeah, or you're ready for, or it's your time. So the analogy they gave me, it was about the sun. I asked, what was my role and how am I to serve? And they said, well, think of yourself as a sun. And said it only appears to inhabitants on the surface of the earth that the sun goes up and goes down and is changeable. Sometimes it's hotter, sometimes it's cooler. In reality, when you look at it from the bigger perspective, sun is actually pretty constant in the sense of all it has to do is to shine, to be,
yes.
to do what it does best. It just being itself.
It's generating heat.
It's generating heat and light. And I mean, of course, this is, it's a fable of sorts. So, don't take it literally. But it was really good illustration, because then they told me, kind of in my mind's eye, I guess, like a visual of, there's the sun and there's all these different planets around it. And then if the sun gets too preoccupied with the fate or with the conditions on each individual planet, it actually cannot do its job properly. Because if the sun gets too concerned about the planets that are close, and it's like, I need to turn down my heat, I don't need to be as big and bright, to kind of to protect them or to make it easier for them, then it will make it much more difficult conditions for the planets that are further away. And then, the opposite is also true. If it shines too bright, if it gets to be, again, too involved, overextends itself, it can scorch the ones that are closest to them. So the moral of the story was just stay in your lane. Do you be the best you can be. There's lots of things you can do by clearing the energy, by opening up, by being in the energies that you want more of into this world. And by doing that, you positively affecting everybody around it, because you're giving them the permission and the dignity to make their own choices and to decide what their path is going to be. And then you're also modeling, obviously.
Right.
Being the light.
Being the light.
Which
that's a really great analogy. Yeah, because sometimes we do modify who we are to make us more acceptable to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then sometimes we diminish us.
Yeah.
Right? Or we're trying to overpower somebody else and then we diminish them. Yeah, right, it's that whole thing, and I love the whole Marianne Williamson thing. That says that we don't serve anyone by being small, and by allowing ourselves to be the expression of love. Right.
Yeah.
Then when we choose that as our freedom, and shine it, we're actually giving permission to everybody else to also do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and we also provide stable ground. Because if we're centered, if we are concentrated, if we are steady on our course, then everything around us can find and adjust to that center of gravity. So
I love that.
We are creating stability in a sense by grounding, by holding our space, holding our light, so things around us can actually, adjust and co-regulate, really, and decide if they want to go this direction or that direction.
Right. So one of the things that I know that that you and I do personally, and that many people in our group do, is that we regularly spend time in quiet, and not like we talked about earlier, being busy, doing things unconsciously.
Yes.
So like taking time to do your prayers, your gratitudes, your meditation, going deep and quiet inside your own being, learning how to feel yourself, right? Because you can't, like when this big wave of love comes, if you're in frenetic space and you're not paying attention to how is my body in this moment, how are my mind and emotions feeling? You have nothing from which, like the beginning of the calibration of where it is you're going in these 9 days, right? If you have no bottom line and nothing to relate it to, you are not going to know where you're going. You are not going to know how much love you're able to receive. So you want to open that vessel up.
Yeah.
Right? So for some people, it's doing forgiveness work, loving themselves, appreciating life, and sometimes just going into silence. Some people do mantras, right? Some people choose to breathe in colors and connect to the love in the universe and just allow it to move through them. Some people listen to solfeggio frequencies. I mean, whatever it takes to get you calmed and centered so that you can then begin to expand. One of the things that I got as a message, and I think you got the same message, was that this 9-day period of time is going to give us an opportunity, many people, to experience euphoria of like really a bliss-like state, like, and we maybe want to pinch ourselves, like, is this real that we can feel this much love, right? And that we can and be a beacon of love for others to see. We're all just been normal human beings, but we've been doing our personal work. So the more that we have opened ourselves up, the more we can receive, right? The less negativity we're holding, the more positivity and expansion that we're allowing, the more we can hold. And this energy is supposed to keep building up day after day after day. It's not static. It's not like this is how much you're going to get. It's like, how much are you wanting your mind, your heart, your physical body, your spirit to embrace this? Where do you want to go with this? And they said it's very important because the 5D new grid Earth is a blank slate. Right?
Yeah.
So as a blank slate, that means what we think, how we behave, how we treat one another, how we treat our planet is very important because that input is going into this new frequency, into this new octave of higher frequency on the planet.
Yeah, we're co-creating it as we go.
As we go. You got that message very clearly, didn't you?
Yeah. It's under construction in the sense that we get to take an active participation role into this and actually co-create this reality.
Yeah, so let's see here. Well, one of the things that they've shown me over and over is not just in the end of this, the full 9 days, but our spirit, the core of who we are, really does want to live life and love with wild abandonment, right? With a sense of freedom. So the image that I've and I know not everyone's had an idyllic childhood, very few of us have, but there is this part of us that knows how, or has a desire to relate to like a small child being in absolute total delight in a meadow with the sun shining and a warm breeze and dancing and giggling and freedom of expression of love, right? I mean, that would be wonderful for the adult person to be, and not, be that injured adult,
Yeah.
right? And have that injured child within the adult in expression all the time.
Yeah.
We want to allow that to heal, to wash away, but we can't do it until we get quiet and allow the love in, right?
Yeah.
And I think you wanted to lead us in a meditation, right?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can do that. It's interesting that you said the child part, is because I keep getting that over and over, how important it is that the inner child, they sometimes even call it divine child, that energy that holds the key or the most direct route to that joy, this exhilaration, the childlike wonder about the world, the ability to be in the present moment, uninhibited ways.
Yes.
Like the joy that the child have is shameless, like there's just this beauty to it. There's this openness. It's like when we become this, like when we're injured, we tend to, it's almost
we
like
contract.
we contract.
Yes.
So we become like really prickly. And it's curious that this is my son's story, actually, because it illustrates really well. We become contracted, and there's only so much we can hold, and then we get all the negativity gets just attached to it. And as we contract, as we let go, it's like if you throw this, it will by itself, actually, it starts moving, and the more you move, the easier it is to expand. And when it expands to our true potential, there is negativity just slides right off. And
there's nothing for it to stick to.
There is nothing to stick to. And there's all this openness. We can look how much more space we can hold.
I love that.
With this openness. It's really such a good visual. I use this all the time because it's, to me...
Can I have one of those toys too? Remind me. That's all there.
It's Haberman's sphere. But it's really good reminder of how our heart works like that. We can be contracted, we can expand, and the way we do it, like the meditation that Rajith mentioned, is I was actually guided, just said to lead you in the meditation that allow you to feel this expansion, this heart movement. It kind of feels like that. And if you don't feel it, don't feel discouraged, because this is a matter of practice. This is like a muscle. You just work with it. And
Ooh, I like that, like a muscle.
It's like a muscle, yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you stick to it and trust the process, it will eventually come through to you in one way or another.
So do you want to lead us into that now?
Sure. Is it a good time?
I think it's a great time. What do you think?
We can do it. Do it. If you're up for it, it shouldn't take that long.
I'm up. Let's do it. I mean, we can all always benefit from a new way of meditating. I'd love to feel and
this is a meditation practice that I was exposed to actually in the social meditation practices when I would meditate with a group of people. So we feed off each other's energy and the flow that's present. So which works at distance and through the computer as well. So it's called metta, like the sun, and metta is good wishing and well wishing.
M-E-T-A?
M-E-T-T-A.
M-E-T.
Yeah, metta. But it doesn't. That's not important. It's basically it's a heart expanding practice, and again, it's a practice. So don't get too attached to the outcome. We just try to be in the present. So center in whichever way works for you. So get like comfortable position. It can be whichever position comfortable for you. And just,
is it important to have your spine tall and straight?
Not really. No. It's a matter. This particular one you want to be comfortable, because you want to have. If you are uncomfortable or something's painful, it's hard to put attention to your heart because the energy is very subtle.
Okay.
So you want to be comfortable. This is not going to be long. So if you want to close your eyes, you can. You don't have to.
I'm going to.
So, but first you can start taking a few breaths. just kind of try to make them as smooth. Don't hold it. And this is just kind of envisioning them warming up your heart, to kind of going through your core. Smooth inhale and exhale. And then you can add in, breathing in the light, breathing out love. Or if love is inaccessible to you, you can use kindness, which is an expression of love. So breathe in the light, exhale, kind, loving energy. And then envision your heart being like the sun, as it radiates warmth and light in every direction. And I'm going to give you some suggestions for good wishes, and then imagine them radiating, starting from the core, from the center of your heart, and going outwards like waves, like sun rays or waves of warmth. And then you always start with yourself. May I be filled with unconditional love. May all beings, including myself, be free of fear. May all beings, including myself, remember the true nature as unconditional love. May we all be reunited with the Source and remember our oneness. Mm-hmm. May we feel whole again and embrace the joy and happiness that we already have within. And may we share our unconditional love for each other freely and openly. And so it is.
Boy, that feels really sweet. Thank you for that. Very calming, very centering. And did you mention the heart? I just want to do a little tiny aside. Mm-hmm. We know that the heart chakra color, when it's in its fullness in 3D, is emerald green. Mm-hmm. And so when people need healing, the heart chakra colors can be from like a real pale celery green through all the other greens, expanding into that emerald green. And what my guides have been showing me for the last year, and I think a lot of people don't know this, is that the heart chakra is not only the emerald green, but in fifth dimensional reality, we add the dimension of lime green to it. And I've not ever really loved lime green, but for whatever reason, in the last few months, I've really been drawn to the lime green, so yeah. Wow, that felt really great. And so that is a little sample, folks, of you taking time, to breathe into your own being. There are lots of beautiful people who teach meditation online. There are sweet prayers, and even I've been working with some people who are like, either deeply Muslim or deeply Christian or Jewish, Hindu, and they will use their prayers from their sacred texts to read them calmly, sweetly, into their bodies and just breathing in the words and allowing the energy of the words and that love, to move through them. So whatever, I think, puts your light bulb on in your heart, right?
Yeah, we gotta find what works for you, because it gotta feel authentic. It gotta feel, this should not be a chore. This should be joyful, heartfelt process. As like it's kind of surrendering to this really heart. It's all about heart. It's interesting you brought that. It's all about heart, and we going through this through our hearts, really.
Right.
As even as far as saying like our heart is our portal, that's how we connect not just to the world and other beings, but it feels like to me, my understanding that this ascension, this 5D movement, will be very heart centered.
Absolutely, because it is. One of the things they said from the beginning is it's a shift from the me, greedy, abuse the world, abuse one another to get what we want. Mm-hmm. That cannot exist in 5D. This expansion of we're needing to honor the sacred and the love within ourselves. We need to bear witness to the sacred and love in you and your family members and your friends, and even people, like there are some political figures that some people have an aversion to, right? And we have to remember that even they have the divine in them, right? So you may not want to be around them, but it's important to recognize that they have divinity in them. They may not be using it or be very much in touch with it, but they have a purpose here. If they're playing the dark for us to learn something from it, there is a purpose in that. But this 5D is about brotherhood. It's about looking at all of life through the lenses of love. Understanding that between you and the beautiful pebbles, by a brook, or a big rock, right? Or the water in a stream, or leaves on a plant, or the fruit on a tree, or the flowers, or the birds or animals, there is a continuum of energy that connects all of life. All of it, right? And to know that you are not separate from that, and it is not separate from you, just as you are not separate from the Creator and the creation.
Yeah.
Right? So it's about moving that consciousness up that octave. Okay, we've already learned all this stuff in 3D. Now we need to go really practice.
Yep.
All the great saints and teachers of all the religions around the world have been teaching us about the principles of love and letting go of attachment and going within and selfless service, right? What is selfless service? It's an expansion of your heart. Because what? Your arms are an expansion and extension of your heart, right? We can help one another by expanding our heart, by giving, by sharing who it is that we are, the talents that we have. Whatever the gift, each one of us has a gift.
Yep.
Right? No matter who you are, you all have a gift to bring into this world, whatever that is. So it's an opportunity to embrace all of that. There were a couple. You want to say these last two lines on the?
No, I think it was not your message.
Well, you're welcome to say them. I've already blabbed enough.
No, I just, I think that this whole process is such a humbling experience, because it's new in some way, but it's all about remembering. Like, we've already kind of been there, in the sense that oneness that was our origin, our essence.
Yes.
And the invitation is to remember, to allow and accept that we are one with the divine. That the illusion of separation is an illusion.
It is, exactly. It's an illusion.
And
yes.
that we're always connected to the source, to the Creator. There is an aspect of that in every single one of us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and then And then the note here is that you are a divine being, a divine embodiment to carry the light, truth, and love into the consciousness of humanity.
So that you can become the vessel of that energy and support the whole shift in the universe. So this 9 days, we're going to be offering every single day. We're going to do a YouTube live at noon Pacific Daylight. No, it's Standard Time right now. Yeah, forget the daylight thing. Pacific Standard Time, and it'll be noon, and we'll have we're going to do a little meditation so that people can take a few minutes to get quiet. And then people are, hopefully, if you have questions, you can send questions to info@oneilluminedheart, and then we can try to answer those questions for you as well. We'll try to make whatever we can interactive on YouTube. I've never done that before. We're going to do some practice sessions on Sunday and Monday to see where we're going to go with that. But we're going to have, 2 or 3 people on every day. We'll probably do like a Zoom thing. So we're offering an opportunity to share what our experiences are, and different people at different levels, their experiences are of what this new energy is affording them in terms of a sense of self, a new, whether or not it's expanding themselves or not, or what's coming up for them in this process. So I'm looking forward to that, because it's a brand new journey for all of us. None of us have done this moving up an octave on the planet. So let's go and see what the party's all about.
And be joyful.
And be joyful. Right.
Yeah, that sounds like a party.
It does. Yes. So today is the 18th of December, and we're going to get this posted right away, and hopefully we'll all of you who can join us on a daily basis. Great. Otherwise, it'll be posted, and you can follow up after to see what it is. And I'll also post it on Facebook to let it go live there as well. All right. Take care. Blessings to everyone. And thank you, Liana, for being with us and sharing your information. All right. Bye-bye.